Hi guys, welcome to day 4 of the 20 days of Power BI challenge with Zakrak Learning. Trust your learning has been fun and insightful so far. Today we are going to learn about data transformation in Power BI. Data transformation refers to the process of taking raw data from various sources and manipulating it into a clean, structured format suitable for building reports and visualization. You mold the data, serve your specific needs and analysis goals. Let's take a deeper dive into what data transformation entails in Power BI. So why is data transformation important? Number one, data transformation improves the quality of your data. Raw data contains inconsistencies, errors, and irrelevant information. Transforming your data ensures accuracy and eliminates the noise, leading to reliable and trustworthy insights. Remember that garbage in is always garbage out. You need your data to be very good, of good quality and accurate. Another reason why data transformation is important is structure and usability. Shaping your data into a desired format. For example, combining tables, splitting columns, right, makes it easier to analyze, visualize, and draw insightful meanings from your data. One last reason why data transformation is important is meeting your analytical needs. Different analyses require different data structures. Transformation tailors your data to the specific questions or problems you're trying to solve. Let's talk about some key transformation techniques in Power BI. Number one is data cleaning, removing duplicates, formatting consistencies, handling missing values, identifying and correcting errors. Outliers, typographical errors fall under the cleaning of transforming your data. Another technique is shaping your data. Shaping involves merging and splitting tables based on relationships. It also involves adding columns for new insights, maybe it's called feature engineering, filtering and selecting the relevant data in your data set. Sometimes not all the data is necessary for analysis. During the data transformation, you can filter and select only the data that is relevant for your analysis. Finally, transforming your data. This involves changing data types, for example, text to number, text to maybe date data type. It also involves aggregating and grouping your data. Now, where does data transformation happen? The primary tool for data transformation in Power BI is the Power Query Editor, which we've seen a lot of since the beginning of this challenge. It acts as a visual workspace where you can apply various transformations through an intuitive interface with helpful hints and suggestions. Very powerful tool. Power Query runs on the language. So if you want to perform advanced transformations, advanced data cleaning. You can use the M language for complex data manipulation. Power Query also bridges the gap between your raw data and pre-processed data that you can pull into or load into Power BI for further analysis. Now, what are the benefits of effective data transformation? Number one, data transformation will enhance the quality and trust in your analysis. Number two, it will provide more efficient and focused or accurate insights. If your data is properly transformed and of good quality, you'll be able to create stunning and informative visualizations. Today, I'm going to show you how to perform data transformation in Power BI. So let's get down to it. We are going to be connecting to a web data source. So I'll click. Let's get the URL we would like to use of the website we would like to connect to. As you all know, the African Cup of Nations is currently ongoing, and I would like us to use data from the AFCON as our data source. So I'm going to navigate to the Wikipedia page of the African Cup of Nations. We're going to copy the URL for this website. Copy the URL for this website. So we'll be connecting to the Wikipedia page on the African Cup of Nations. All right. There are several tables that we can extract from this website in order to perform uh, some data transformation on it. So you can see some of those tables. I'll copy the URL and then paste into this window. So here we have the tables from the website. We can quickly do a preview of those tables to choose the ones we want for our to load or extract into our Power Query editor. Alright, so I think I'm needing this one. This one contains data about the games, especially the finals of the AFCON since inception, from inception up to now. So I'll be selecting these two tables and then I'll click transform to load up our Power Query editor. Now, our data has now been loaded into the Power Query editor for transformation. We have two tables here, or what you call queries here, because queries are connections to the data source. Two queries will contain some messy data that needs to be cleaned and reshaped in order for us to visualize and analyze it effectively. All right. The first thing I'm going to do is to rename this query by editing it in the properties pane, the query settings pane. Yeah. All the steps you are going to be applied will appear in this section on the right. Now, when you look at this data, it becomes obvious that the first row contains some messy data, and upon closer inspection, you see that the first row is sort of a continuation of the header. It's just additional information about header. So what do we do? How do we take care of this, or how do we handle this? We're going to be removing the top row. We're going to be removing the top row. And to do that, we'll go to the ribbons on the home tab and select remove rows. Select remove top rows and supply the number of rows you like to remove, which is 1, the first place game score, the first place game runner up, and so on and so forth. Now you will notice that we have some null or empty columns in our data. How do we remove empty columns? You can hold Ctrl and click on the columns you'd like to remove. Okay, so we have these 2 columns that contain, okay, there's a third one that contains empty or null values, and then you can go to remove columns, remove these selected rows. To remove the selected columns. So now our data is looking nice so far. The next thing we're going to do is to clean some of these numeric columns. All right, or better still is to clean the scores columns. That's first place game score and third place game score. In order to do that, we are going to be splitting the column. Okay, so we could split or probably extract rather. Okay, because from the entries in this column, you can see that some of these games went into extra time and penalties. All right, so we want just the score in this column. So how do we do that? There are several ways we could do that. Okay, so we could extract, and since all the scores fall or occupy the first 3 characters in this column, we could extract the first set of characters and say, okay, we want the first 3 characters. When I click OK, you see that the first 3 characters has been extracted for us. We also have a column here with more information about the third place game, like the score of that of the third place game for each African Cup of Nations. So we're also going to extract. I'm also going to extract, or we could split. You can extract or split. You can extract or split by positions, you can split by lower to uppercase, from digits to non-digits, from by delimiter, and so on and so forth. Now, but since we are not particularly interested in whether the games went into extra time or not, we could just extract first set of characters just like we did before, and we'll be extracting the first three characters of our column. That was a mistake. I'll remove or undo that. So we want to do that on the third place game column. All right, so awesome. The next thing we want to do is right. So at the bottom of our data here of this query, you will notice that we have AFCONs that have or had not been played yet. The last AFCON was in 2021, and which was won by Senegal, the current champions, champions. So we're going to remove these bottom rows. All right, remove it. Let's go back to our home tab. Hit remove rows. We'll select remove bottom rows, and we are going to remove these three bottom rows. Nice. All right. So we still have some messy data here. We have some messy data here. That's for the third place um, matches, and the number of teams who participated in the AFCON for each of the editions. So we're going to find a way to clean them. All right. Now, one way to do that is to replace the values in those cells. All right. Although Power Query frowns on row level access to your data, the data in your query, you can still replace values. Can you see that? You can replace the values in individual cells, all right, or rows of a column. However, for the sake of this tutorial, we don't need the third place information. We are only interested in final game between the champion and the runner up. So we're going to remove these columns holding or clicking shift and using your arrows to navigate to the other columns. We can right click and click on remove columns. So now we have data about the the first place game, that is the champion, and the runner up of that particular final. All right. Now the next thing we would like to do is to split this column into the or to split this column into the home and away goals, into the home and away goals. So we would like to split into home and away goals, then finally calculate the total number of final goals. So to do that, go to your transform tab and click on split column, and you can split based on several criterias, or by delimiter, by number of characters, by position, by lowercase to uppercase, digits to non-digits, and by non-digits to digits. Of course, we have digit to non-digits here, and we have delimiters which will perform or fulfill the same or perform the same task. So I'm going to split by delimiter. Power Query has determined or detected the delimiter in the data in that column. So we don't have to tamper with that. You can also specify how you want to split based on that delimiter. Do you want to split by the leftmost, rightmost, or each occurrence of that delimiter? You can also split using special characters. All right. So I'll just click on OK because there's no need to for further tampering. So we have splitted the first place game column by the hyphen between them, and now we have the goal scored by the champion and the away or the runner up. Now, next thing we're going to do is to rename. So I'll say it's an AFCON game and there was no home or away team. So let's give it goals by champion, and then here we have goals by runner runner up. So goals scored by champions and the goals by runner up. For the number of teams, you can see that we have a sort of some dirty, elements in or characters in in the number of teams column. So we are going to clean that also. We are going to clean it, all right, by all right. So as far as we are concerned, we're not really particular about the number of teams, the value, right? So we're going to simply extract the, or basically we're going to replace the values with the first number there. So right now we'll replace this with 3. We'll replace it with 3. We'll replace this with 15. I think it should be 16. Let's use the first value there. And then finally, we replace the last one here with 15. So you've seen how to replace values in case you have values that are incorrect or inaccurate in your data. You can replace them by right clicking and selecting replace values. Awesome. So we now have the number of teams, but it's supposed to align to the right since it contains numeric characters, but it's still being seen as. So what can we do? One thing we can do is to format the data by trimming in order to remove leading and trailing white spaces in the column. Another thing to do is to clean to remove unwanted or unprintable characters from the column. And then finally, we can change the data type by either detecting data type or manually selecting or assigning the appropriate data type to the column. So as you can see, it has detected that it is of numeric data type. Finally, we are going to select all the text columns in order to format or clean the texts in them. This is to avoid any form of errors or inconsistencies in our data. So I'll hold Control and click on the text column, and then I can right click and go to transform. Transform, you can trim, and also clean. Part of making your data consistent can also involve converting your data to uppercase, lowercase, or capitalizing. Power Query is case sensitive. In other words, if you have uppercase Sudan, for instance, it's not the same thing as this capitalized Sudan. You can also use that to properly clean your text data type columns. So I think we are almost ready. The last thing we're going to do is to calculate the number of goals scored in the final of each AFCON game by adding a new column. So I'll go to the Add Column tab and click Add Column and click on Add Custom Column. I'm going to add custom column, and the name of the column will be goals scored in final. So goals scored in final. So that will be goals scored by champion. I'll just double click that, plus goals scored by runner up. Ensure you check to confirm that there is no syntax error. So once you have this check mark, it means your formula is correct and ready to run. So add the goal scored in the final match, a new calculated column. Alright, I will adjust this, give us just whole number. Okay, so our data is getting ready or almost ready for to be loaded into Power BI. So let's clean up the headers or the column labels before we continue. So here, this column contains the country that won the champion, that the AFCON for that year. So I'm going to just write champion there, and here we have second place or runner up. So just try runner up. Here also, let's make it more explicit by typing number. So our data is almost ready. The next thing we're going to do is look at the second table for any need for transformation. As you can see, the second table contains information about the all-time record, the tournament, the number of matches played, the number of goals scored, and the goals per match. Right now, everything looks good. So we want to combine these two tables, right, into one query. How do we go about that?
See you in the next tutorial. Until then, don't forget to like this video, hit the subscribe button, click the notification bell to get updates on new videos, and share this video with your friends. Bye for now.